What's going on, people, and welcome back to Mandem Football. Glad to be back. It's been quite a while since my last video, but I am here anyways. And it's, of course, your boy Demeachnyc Hilton here. If you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe on the video below. As always, follow me on my socials in the description below. Follow me on Instagram at Demeachnyc. Follow me on X or Twitter at Mandem_football. And of course, like and comment and subscribe to my channel, Mandem Football, right here, right now. And in today's video, I do want to get into it. I want to start off with Newcastle United. Are they the new kids on the block? They had a fantastic victory against Liverpool, which I am very, very psyched about because, it's different, obviously, from last season. Liverpool won last year's Carabao Cup, so we get a new winner, of course. But there's something special about this year's Carabao Cup and who won it, Newcastle United, who are a big club in the institution of football or just in the sport itself. There is a big significance to Newcastle and what they've done for English football over the past how many years they've been around, going all the way back to their last time they won a trophy, going back to the Alan Shearer days, going back to the many players that played for them. They are a good team, and I do think that there is definitely a question as to are they the new kids on the block. But going into the game itself, I look at the game. First of all, Newcastle, big them up. Congratulations to them. They played an extraordinary game. They outmuscled Liverpool. We're talking about a team that were considered the best team in the world, even still to this point. They still haven't, they got eliminated from the Champions League to PSG. We all understand that. Not everyone's going to win it. But Liverpool have probably been the most consistent team in terms of just, they've been flying in the Premier League. The Champions League, they were at the top. And to see that they're no longer in both competitions in a span of 1 week is very, very surprising and is definitely a shock to the system for Liverpool. But, Newcastle, they wanted the game more. They outmuscled Liverpool. They won the physicality aspect of this of the game. You can't forget about the one thing that I do want to say about Newcastle is that the one thing that they have amongst all teams that they practically play is that their physicality is through the roof. I mean, there are players that are ball winners. Like they are players that will fight tooth and nail just to win the 50-50 or the second ball. There are players that are just so significantly beyond the average physicality of a footballer. When I look at the likes of Dan Burn, I mean, Dan Burn is like the only 6'7" defender that I know off the top of my head that could, let alone move and pass and, fly around the pitch like he did. He flew up to the front line of the attack when I think Isaac or Tonali had the ball in the last like 10 minutes of the game. He's making a run through the entire pitch, right? Because the game is so open at that point, right? You think of the likes of Dan Burn. I look at the likes of Anthony Gordon, who didn't even have the opportunity of playing. He's wicked fast. Isaac is wicked fast, and he is an incredible dribbler with the ball at his feet, and just a great all-around goal scorer as a striker. You look at the likes of Joe Linton, who is built like a tank. He can play as a center midfielder. He can play as a defensive midfielder, box to box, winger, anywhere around the pitch. Like, he's doing it all over. You look at the likes of Sandro Tonali, who's a very good, very technical central midfielder. But on top of that, though, he is very well rounded as a physical player and has the physical aspects to his game that makes him even better. I look at the likes of Bruno G, who is everywhere, just like Joe Linton that I just previously mentioned, right? They have just such very, very like gifted players in terms of the physicality of the sport. And like they just wanted it more than Liverpool. And Liverpool have great players too. They have great, powerful players. You look at their attack. You look at even their defense. They have so many great players on the pitch, but they were so second place to Newcastle. They shouldn't even have showed up that game. I mean, if they're either disappointed with their elimination to PSG, if they were either tired because they just had that game, if they were either just anything. I don't know. I really don't know, but it really was a big shock to the system to see Liverpool get outworked like that. They have not been outworked like that all season, but the signs were there though. You look at the way they played against PSG in the first leg, they they came out with the victory, but they got crushed throughout the entire 90 minutes. Besides, the last goal scored by Harvey Elliott, everything was not going their way, and it looked like PSG was going to win. And PSG got redemption, and they eliminated them. And a lot of fans will say rightfully so, and I will probably say rightfully so. But Liverpool are a good team to even go through that sort of suffering. Like I posted on my Twitter page, like they are to suffer that way, and they can handle it. That's why they won against PSG the first leg, right? The game against Newcastle seemed like they could win anyways because they're able to sustain that suffering. They're able to sustain that demolition. They're able to sustain that sort of like getting beaten down. They'll still come out of nowhere and pull off the inevitable, almost like Real Madrid. But man, it just you're never going to win the game if you lose on the physicality aspect of it. You're never going to win the game if you don't want it more than the other team. You're not ever going to win the game if you don't win the ground rules, the aerial rules, the 50-50s, the second chance balls, all of that. That takes so much into it. You have to work in order to win the game. And Liverpool just simply didn't work hard enough, or they didn't work at all, besides the last minutes when Chiesa came in. And I've yet to really see the best of Chiesa this season because he is a well-known player in the game. He's a great player, and I expect a lot more to see of him this season. So we'll see what happens with that. But going back to Newcastle, though, I think this was coming. I think this game, their trophy win, especially in the Carabao Cup, was coming. Like they have a great squad. Besides the players I just mentioned, the likes of Livermento, who does not get the amount of praise that he should. He is an excellent player. He's a very underrated player. Lewis Hall didn't get the pleasure of really watching him play in the Carabao Cup, but he's been extraordinary this season. Um, yeah, I mean, Newcastle have a great team, and if they're able to even like, if PSR is even allowing them to like even get the money for them to, they do have the money. Don't get me wrong, but if they're actually able to, you know, foresee players that they want and actually go and get the players that they want, regardless of the PSR rules, if they're able to do that, then they'll be an untouchable team. Right. They've used their money wisely. They have a top level coach, Eddie Howe. He's a great coach. Anyone that denies Eddie Howe, you know, you have to watch this guy coach. You have to see the way Newcastle play because they are devastating on the counterattack. They are devastating in the transition. They are devastating in several aspects of the game. However, there are things that they lack. I think they lack some parts of the technical aspect of it, but a lot of that is going to be overshadowed based on the inherent quality that they have all around the pitch. And I mean all around. And like I forget that they have the likes of like Botman, Fabian Schär, Kieran Trippier still has an unbelievable pass to him. They have, a dog like Sean Longstaff. Like they have several good players. Joe Willock is still there. Murphy is still there. Like they have so many players that can make an impact for this team. It's unbelievable. I would assume that they're going to fight for top four. I would assume that they would, be in the Champions League like they were a few years ago. But there's no question that this team cannot be underestimated and that they are here to stay. If the decisions that are made in the future for their club are rightfully made. There's a lot of talk about Isak and where he's going to go. We don't know yet. If I were Alexander Isak in this position, I would stay. I would 100% stay at Newcastle. I wouldn't leave. I don't know why leave. You're at a great team already. You have great players around you. If you're guaranteed that Newcastle are going to get even more players to build upon, I wouldn't leave. I really wouldn't leave. I don't even see why you would do that. But if the money is talking, I heard Liverpool want him. I heard Arsenal want him. I heard even Chelsea might look into him. Right, there are several clubs that want this guy, and if they're gonna get 150 million for him, I would take it. I'm just saying, I would take it. And if they're going to take it, there's another Swedish player out there that would be the perfect replacement for him. And that would be Victor Gyökeres at Sporting, who to me is the best striker in the world. I've said it numerous times. And yeah, he is the best striker in the world. I love Isak. I think he's brilliant. But his compadre is definitely the best striker in the world. And if they are to sell Isak, then Victor Gyökeres is the way. Well, so what's it looking forward for Newcastle? Will they have a trophy to their name? I think they're probably going to try and go for a Champions League top 4, top 5, possibly. And I think that would be great for them. But if they don't get that, then I do see Isak leaving, probably. I wouldn't do that if I were him. He's still on contract. But if he is to leave, then he's probably going to go to the 3 teams I just mentioned. And we'll see what happens from there. But obviously Newcastle, wow, they are definitely the new kids on the block. They're the team to look out for. And they're the team to definitely watch for the next season and even for this season right now, right? They still have to play. I think they have to play Liverpool again. They have to play, I think they have to play Arsenal again at the Emirates. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, man. It's going to be great for them. And for Liverpool, they're still going to probably win the Premier League, but that was definitely a bitter blow for them to be knocked out of 2 cup competitions in just a span of 1 week. So yeah, that's what I got for today's video, guys. I just really want to get Newcastle off my chest because they are such a brilliantly run team and they have a lot of potential in the future. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, guys, and I will see y'all in the next one.